I'm Lazy Man Prepper, and today we're going to talk about shopping at Arbor Freight and processing fat wood. So I don't know if you're familiar with Arbor Freight. They're an online and a catalog company, and they have stores in various towns throughout the United States. Mostly it's cheap Chinese stuff. I went there with the purpose of looking for prepping and survival and bushcraft kind of equipment. They're more automotive based, tools, woodworking tools, some power tools. Check them out online if you don't have one locally. I am terrible at sharpening knives. I would rather stick them on a bench grinder, but I'm buying a little better quality knife now. The cold steel leather neck Tanto I have came stupid sharp. Update on my finger. It's turning out pretty good. I'll put a link below for the video to have you watch me chop that off. The cold steel blade, even though I've just batoned a bunch of wood, did some whittling with it, it doesn't need sharpening yet. But I can tell it's not as high of a sharpness as it was when I got it. But it's still fine. But before it needs sharpening, I want to practice sharpening. So I went to Arbor Freight and I picked up this. This is a three-sided stone. Get it out of the box here in a minute. I think this was $7. And this one is a four-sided diamond stone. I think this was maybe 12. Let's start with that one. It's a really cool design. The problem with it is that it's not as fine as I think I need. What you got is a plastic tray and a four-sided block inside of it. And on the ends, it says the grit for each diamond plate. So as you can see, it's metal with holes punched in it, and it has diamond dust impregnated onto it. This starts at 200, has a 300, a 400, and a 600. If your knives are in terrible shape, this is a good product to have. The 600, I would like a 1000. The 600 works, but it's not quite razor sharp like I'd like. So that's a pretty good product. You put it in whichever side you want to use. Come on now. Use it, go to the next one, so on and so forth. Pretty decent. Like I say, it was $12, I think. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a three-sided stone. This comes in, again, another nice little plastic case, and it has 3 grates of stones. 150, 200, and of course I need the box now. $120, $150, and $240. So this thing's a little rougher than the diamond impregnated one, but this works good for like axes or putting a good edge or reshaping the edge on your knife. So what you do is you start on the black one, 120, rotate it to the yellow or to the green one at 150, and then to the white one to finish it off. And then what I do is I come over to this one. So that's 2 knife sharpeners from Arbor Freight. $22 I think, or something like that for both of them. I still need like 1,000 and a 2,000 grit to really put a good edge on them. But I'm practicing. I'm terrible at it, but I'm practicing. The next thing I bought was this saw. This was $7. Came with 2 blades, and it's not worth a crap. I tried to cut a pine limb off with it, and it angles off like that. I was in a hurry. I tried to do it as fast as I could because I thought it would just tear right through it, but it cuts on an angle. I thought maybe I'd keep this at camp for some bigger stuff. I still might. I'm still going to. But too big for a bag. I think the teeth are just too sharp or too deep of a grind on them. So don't buy this. Instead, buy this. This is the one you've seen me using in videos, and I love it. It's really, you know, I bought this like 3 years ago, 4 years ago probably. It's really nice. It fits in my bag perfectly. The blade is not a locked blade, so it can just swing open, and you have to manually pull that little retainer right there in order to lock the blade. But it does the job. It chews through some wood. This one, on the other hand, does a better job. This was $6 at Harbor Freight. And a couple of features I like about this: it's got a little rubberized handle. The black on here is rubber. The red is plastic. But what I like is it locks closed. You have to push the detent on the top in order for it to open and for it to lock. The handle has a really nice bend to it where you can get below stuff and get 2 hands on it if you need to. That's the way I was doing it, was with 2 hands. And it chews through the wood. It has a thicker blade than the bow saw, and it doesn't cut at an angle. This thing rips through wood. To compare it to my other one, the handles are about the same, but the blade on the other one is probably 1 inch longer. So I've watched a bunch of videos about these folding saws, and they're 20 and up for a saw. This was $6. You can buy 4 of these and keep them in every bag you have and still be ahead of the game versus buying one of the more pricier brand name ones. Yeah, I like this. It was a good buy, and this is going in my woods bag. This one's going in my woods bag, and this one's going in Kid Prepper's bag. The final thing I got was just a magnesium fire starter. It's got the striker and magnesium. You've all seen these. These are normally $5 and up. This was like $2.50. It comes with a striker and the little chain. I've taken that off already. I just bought it because it was $2.50. I'll put it somewhere. I actually had an idea of shaving all this off and put it in a little vial, maybe a pill box of some kind or a chapstick container, and having that right there to pour on to start a fire, as opposed to, you know, scraping this every time you need it. This stuff, for me personally, was crazy hard to process. I'm sure where you're at, or if you found a honey tree, it's probably easier for you. This was I had a fallen tree at a rest stop that butts up to state land. So I stopped there. There's several pine trees. I probably chose the wrong one. Don't know what I'm looking for yet. And I cut into it first with the bow saw and then with this saw. And I'm like, yeah, look at that, it's great. Well, it's winter in Michigan. We haven't had a lot of snow, but we've had rain. And what I thought was the sap portion of the tree was actually water. I mean, this stuff looked great. It was dark and it was hard and it was just wet. So this little box of fatwood I got came from a 6-foot piece, a 4-foot piece, limbs. It was tough to get pieces out of it. And I'm not even sure this is fatwood. I'm going to give you a close-up view of this stuff. It smells like it, but I'll give you a close-up view of this. What I've realized is that this has been setting overnight. It's still wet. Some of the pieces, some of them aren't. I mean, I can tell some of it because it's sticky and it's got that look on the end where it looks a little orangish. This was the center of about a 6-inch limb. And I had to cut all that off of there, and I got down to this. I honestly don't know where the rest of it went. You'd think it would go the whole way. But, so I got this piece. I got this piece. These are decent size. This will probably last me forever if it's fatwood. But if you guys know anything about fatwood, let me know what you think about that and whether it is or not. I actually used a chop saw, so it was pretty easy to do that part. I'm pretty sure this chunk is, but it's wet, it's sticky. I put a fire on it on several of these, a little Bic lighter to see if I get the sap to run or to bubble out maybe. There's another core. Again, probably a 4 or 5 inch diameter stick. I just got little pieces. Oh yeah, look at him. He's huge. So what I'm going to do with this is let it dry and see if the stuff lights. I kind of know what I'm looking for now and what not to look for. I know what not to look for. Let's put it that way. I don't know if I know what to look for. So here's some chunks. Sounds like it, doesn't it? It's heavy, but again, it could just be the water. We'll see. But again, if you're making this stuff and you're selling it, you have enough that you want to sell, make sure you're charging enough. If you're gifting this and you get this stuff, not this personally, but if you get fatwood as a gift, for goodness sakes, make sure you say thank you, because it's a lot of work to process this stuff down to where it's usable, at least in my experience. So there's a quick look at my Arbor Freight finds, my hopefully fatwood finds, and I think that's it for today. If you liked the video, click the like button, post a comment, head over to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button, share them if you want to. This is Lazy Man Prepper, out. Boom. How easy was that? Are all about getting back or surviving different situations. There's Cody's, and there's mine. Lazy Man Prepper, out. I always gotta check to see if I hit record at the end of the video.